Hello everyone, it's Malcolm here again from Presstime, and we're going to go ahead and do some more WordPress Q&A. So I don't really have anything planned today. I had some technical difficulties, hence the late start, but here we are and let's see what we can do. So first of all, you can see our wonderful Presstime website. Feel free to visit. If you have any questions, leave them in the live chat. If you're viewing this after the live chat, go ahead and leave the comments in the comment section of the video and I will review those and try to answer them in the future. If you hear a weird whirring sound that sounds like a droid from Star Wars, I'm not from the future. I just have a 3D printer that is printing out face shield components for the local medical center and just having that printer go, go, go. So if you hear that noise, I'm sorry, but it's for a good cause. So let's head on over to WordPress.org. One of the first things I'm going to do is get an error. The audio stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Well, hopefully that's just an error due to the fact that I didn't have my audio running there for a little bit. So one of the first things I'm going to do is get the WordPress troubleshooting plugin loaded up, because that's the plugin I keep telling people to go to. This health check and troubleshooting plugin is super useful. If you're having problems with WordPress, this is a good place to start. So we'll get that open because we're probably going to reference it at least once. That's interesting. I can add delays to my stream and stuff. I feel like my stream's already delayed enough for you guys. Let's go down here. We'll see ones from a couple days ago that still no one has answered. Maybe those people should hopefully come back and add more information and insight. That might help them get answers for their questions. We have some that are about 20 some odd hours old. How are two people here with no responses? I don't know. We'll go check that out. Search bar with API key question mark. Not English at all. Sorry. Backup plugin. Oh, there's so many. You must be logged in. Oh my goodness. No stealing my password, please. All right, here we go. Free versions preferred. Backup restores zip bar to my PC. Backup the entire website, including database. Backup select files, folders. I mean, you've tried the good ones. Yeah, so he mentioned Updraft Plus, back WP Up, all-in-one WP Migration, and Duplicator. Those are some great plugin choices, and if they're not meeting this person's needs, they're going to have to give some more insight into why they have these specific needs. I mean, it looks like they have the knowledge to use one of these, so I don't know what's wrong. Like I love all-in-one WP Migration. I think it's a great plugin, especially the pro version of that. Again, you're paying money, but if what you're doing with WordPress is related to business, you should get used to paying money for things. Search bar with API key. Hello guys, I'm trying to install an API key to a website. It's an unlocking service for phones, which people need to put the IMEI for checkup. So I already have the API key for the IMEI database. What I need is to integrate the search bar with the API so that when the user clicks search, the API key brings up information of the phone they're looking up. I mean, it would really be dependent on the service. boom. So my suggestion would be that they're going to need something bespoke for this, right? Like there's not going to be an off-the-shelf plugin that specifically connects to this IMEI database and gives a search field in WordPress. I mean, they almost don't even need WordPress in some ways. I don't know, like, um, yeah, because the database for the IMEI is separate, right? Yeah, I don't even know why they're using WordPress, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I've been guilty of using WordPress for things that WordPress probably wasn't needed for, so I really can't harp on someone else doing that. Reveal and hide post feature image depending on view. What do you mean depending on view? Hey all, I'm having some trouble with understanding how my theme treats Blogroll versus single post in order to remove the feature image for the Blogroll and display it only when the user is viewing a single post. Most themes I've worked with separate the blog from the post, but my theme, Semplice, seems to have combined into a single file, blog.php. Yeah, I mean, that is a pain. So the theme that they're using does have multiple template files, um, like single.php, but all single.php basically does is reference this other file, blog.php. So that's where their problem lies. Um, I mean, there is a check for is single, so they should be able to use that. If not single post ID, why are you doing it like that? So if you look here, they have is single as a thing for this function. So there might be just like a is single true false, right? So you don't need to use the ID here, in my opinion. And again, when you have programming questions like this, the support forum is a really difficult place to resolve these, right? Because we can't see everything, we can't test everything. So it's kind of like a, maybe trial and error at the best of times. Yeah, that would be one of my pieces of feedback. You probably don't need ID in here. Also, you've made a mistake here. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave this one. Um, Resolving coding issues like that in that situation is really hard to do. If I had access to that website, I could probably figure it out pretty quick. Uh, let's see. Change WordPress register URL to WPFORO registration. The registration link at the top of the website goes to the community WP40 registration, which I like as I've incorporated Facebook login, plus I want to keep the same for the site. The issue is whenever someone goes to the comments, such as gallery page listed, it directs them to WordPress registration, which I don't want. I want to direct them to the WP40 registration instead. So when you go here and you want to leave a comment, it redirects you to the WordPress registration, which is not what they want. They want to use this registration for everything. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that. I'm pretty sure there is a way to do that. So I'm pretty sure using this, you can change the register URL. I'm not sure if it'll change it for comments though. But it does say that it returns the URL that allows the user to register on the site, so I hope it would. Where are you? That gets them started. I mean, it doesn't necessarily solve their problem, but I think from there they could get the code they need to make it happen. Everything's always buzzing. That's the downside, right? Oh my goodness. WordPress video playlist max height. The video playlist used to have a max height. Now the size of the playlist is the same size as the videos in it. Vertical videos look so big now. How can I add a max height back? And again, I don't have a site open. It drives me nuts. Appearance, customize. Right? Yep. I mean, and this is kind of a generic thing to say, but it does fit for every theme that's out there, right? I mean, you can add custom CSS to pretty much any theme that exists now, and it'll resolve this kind of issue. It might not be a setting that exists anymore, but there you go. 301 redirects. I'm about to move a site from a develop slot to live today. I have installed a plugin, but when I set the redirect from address, it's the develop slot, not the live slot. Is that correct? And will that domain name change when going live? So why do you need to do redirects from develop to live? You don't. You need to do like URL replacements. under settings, general. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do here. I think my solution will be correct for them. I'll have to wait and see, I guess. Deleting saved templates. Hi guys, I'm wondering. I have a saved template and I just inserted it to a page. Now if I delete my saved template, will the content from the template that's on the page still be there? So I'm assuming that they mean like a Gutenberg template, maybe? Yeah, I mean, it really depends on where this whole saved template is coming from. I know that in Divi, if you have like a template that you're using that's mirrored everywhere and you delete that template, sometimes you can delete it on all the pages. But again, I'm not sure. I don't have enough information to really give them a usable answer. I have a question about register field username. I have limit 4 characters and can't use these characters. How I know these are Latinxed? Is it possible to add some hook to get limit 0 characters and allow use Latinxed? I don't understand what they mean. I think WordPress needs some alternate language support forms at some point. I feel bad for people not being able to get the support they need because they don't speak English. Oh, buddy. Okay. It seems like the featured image is always coming up on the very top of the page, and that's not the place I want to put it. How can I change the position of the featured image to whatever place I want it? Also, if I don't have a feature page and I add a random image to the body of the page, would WordPress and social sites pick it as the featured image? I wish I could spell. Alright. What theme is this? Anyone have a guess? It is ANSCO. Well, it must include ANSCO. Come on. And no luck. Which means that it's custom? Well, that's not helpful. Why did you click on that, Malcolm? Yeah, I don't know the theme, so yeah, if you want the featured image to show up somewhere different, it's gonna. I hate using it. I should play music or something in the background, shouldn't I? With the 5.4 update, my color background on the WordPress editor is changed to white. Before the update, this color are the same with my theme. Now I can't see my text in the editor because the text is white and the background color too. Can I change this color manually? Thanks a lot for your help. I don't have an answer for this person. That's frustrating. I've had that happen though before. Um, using like Elementor and Divi and a few other things where the styles don't show up in the WordPress admin, and thus, I get a bunch of white on white and it looks really dumb. I hate when that happens. So I need to test a few Open Graph codes to insert in individual pages. Ideally, I want to have a feature image without the image actually showing up on the page. I would need to have access to the header of each page and insert different codes for each page to make it work properly. Is there a plugin that would allow me to insert codes on the headers of individual pages? This person, TU586, is doing a lot of interesting things. And I get what they're doing, right? They're trying to make sure that they have stuff set up for social so that if the page is shared, there's a nice image to go along with it. Maybe like even kind of like an advertisement style image. I mean, you can have it set to be a featured image and have it show Open Graph data and not show the image in the theme without needing to access the header of each page. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that that's really going to be helpful for them. So moving on. PHP and jQuery Ajax batch processing big data. That's not for me. I'm not a JavaScript guy. I do like the idea of inserting big data into WordPress though. How to determine name of block. I'm trying to make a block template for a custom post type. There are plenty of examples using common blocks like core paragraph and core image, but how can I determine the name of other blocks? In particular, I need the blocks applied by the plugin Gutenberg PDF Viewer block, but later I might want to know about others, so I'm hoping there is a general purpose way to get the names. I think you just have to go into the JavaScript file that creates the block. If anyone has a better answer, jump in the support forums. What are you doing? Specific subcategory error. So I've encountered an error. As such, the site works fine with no error within category and subcategory. However, I use a page to display subcategories. The subcategory, not even going to try to pronounce that, shows fine. But when you click on it, it redirects me to something else and displays a 404 error. None of the other subcategories are like this. If I manually put a link in, it works fine. However, my other subcategory links look like this. That's weird. Well, I feel like I haven't been very helpful today. Maybe let's check on resolved. WordPress app connection broken. New 5.4 method for direct downloads. Wow, some of the back and forth, When I was working even in our current position, we try to resolve things in as few back and forths as possible because people don't like to do back and forths. So it's kind of funny to see like a thread like that with so many back and forth comments. Interesting. That's sad. It's starting to get warmer out, which is nice. I'm looking forward to some nice late spring weather. You know, where it's warm enough that it feels nice to go out, but not too warm that you're dying and not too cold that you're shivering. Again, they like don't do anything for commercial themes on the support forums. If you're using a commercial theme, contact the theme author. If you don't have a license for it anymore, you're gonna have to hire someone. So for something like this, I would recommend actually like deleting the WordPress files from your server, like the WP admin, WP includes folder, and re-adding it. Getting so many buzzes. Steve! Good old Steve. We saw Steve yesterday here on the live stream. Yep, good call. I think that's solved. Why wasn't that listed? I guess they choose if it's solved or not, right? Like, so Tammy Walters will decide if it was solved or not. Let's look at mine. Let's view my profile. WordCamp speaker, plugin developer. Wait, how come I can't see like the nice profile that we saw? How do I do that? How do I do that? Let's go back to quickly jump over to Steve's again. Okay, and then we're going to take my old username, which I'm embarrassed about, and toss that in there. And Steve has done like thousands upon thousands. Yeah, 36,000 replies. I've done 123. I've been a member since January of 2005. He's been here 6 years after me. So, just a slightly different amount of interaction on the support forums. My goodness. Create function, remove featured image, request, name of block, all the reusable block deleted. Uh-oh. Disabling auto scaling of images during upload. Some people have some of the most interesting questions. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of the issues that I've seen, like I wish I could go to, let's go to support. Let's go to, check out our support forums, fixing WordPress. See, after installing 5.4, 5.4, 5.4, like it actually doesn't seem like there's as many 5.4 issues as I was expecting. I forgot my password of WP admin. Aww. Talk to your web host, people. Talk to your web host. Talk to your web host. I feel like a broken record. Talk to your web host. Sorry. That was loud. I figured adding in a little bit of no copyright sounds might be nice. When I'm not talking, you can listen to music. And when I'm talking, you still can kind of listen to music. Because that's what you wanted to do, right? You came here to listen to music. Let's turn it down a little bit more. It's also nice for me. It keeps me amped up. So yeah, if you're in your WordPress site and you're in the database, there is a spot where you can actually fix the password issue. Here, let me load up the database and show you. So I was watching a video game streamer one time, and they had the thing on their screen that showed the keys that they were typing, and they typed in a password for one of their game accounts. Yeah, you can bet your butt that they had to fix that pretty quick afterwards. Let's launch the database manager. Alright, so this is not exactly PHPMyAdmin, it's pretty close. Cloudways uses their own kind of wrapper on that. And so if we go to WP users and select data, you can see that there's a user account here, and it has user pass, and it's all encoded, but we can actually change that password. So if we come in here and retype something, that's not going to be enough. You have to type in here on the user pass side, and then select MD5 as the encryption. And thankfully, for now, that still works as a way to kind of reset your password through the database. So if you have any issues resetting your password, that's where you would do it. And I'm going to keep that open because I actually do want to reset the password on that account at some point. So, there we go. Boom. Nice, okay. Did lazy loading make it into WordPress 5.4? Oh, that's interesting. It was expected that lazy loading was actually going to be part of WordPress core with 5.4, and apparently that is not the case. And it looks like the code that will be used is WP lazy load. I wonder why it didn't make it. I wonder when it got pulled. Yeah, no, it's not listed. That is super interesting. old Steve. He wants to know which plugin. And we all do, right? And that's one of the hard things about doing support, is that the person typically doesn't come back and tell you what fixed things. Oh well. Oh. Yeah, that person, if you buy a website and it's powered by WordPress, I mean, the first thing you should do is try to go on YouTube and look up some basic WordPress tutorials, right? There are tons of them and some really great ones. So, image is not loading. Installation of WordPress 5.4 failed. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I agree with this recommendation. The manual install is probably their best bet. Oh, that's sad. Yeah. I wish you could give likes to some responses. There are different support places that I've visited before that lets you do that, like vote up things, give points to things. WordPress.org support forum should have that. That's interesting that they want to like run back to a Wix.com webpage. I will say that one of the reasons that I don't like Wix is that the page load times are super long. Their servers are not optimized for speed. So if you're using Wix, you're really doing your visitors a great disservice. It might be easier for you, but it's worse for your visitors. And what's more important, right? So don't use Wix, don't use Squarespace, don't use any of those builder tools like that. You don't have enough control over it. And also you're kind of playing on someone else's sandbox, right? Like Wix could go away tomorrow. Some big company could buy it and decide to turn it off or make it a like hugely expensive paid service. Don't do that. And upgrade your PHP. All of you should be on PHP 7 by now. Most web hosts support PHP 7 and above. And I don't even mean 7.0. You should be in like 7.2, 7.3. If you're really pushing the envelope, 7.4. These versions are pretty old, right? So this person here, they're running 5.5.22. So when did PHP 5.22 release date? I just wanted the release date. I mean, they don't even show it on here anymore. Listen. Maybe this page will tell me. Yeah. Yeah, 2015. So you're talking about a piece of very important software that was released over 5 years, over 5 years ago now. Right? Think about all of the security updates, all of the performance improvements, even in the 5.5 line, right? They've added so much since then that you should not be running such an old version of PHP anymore. Your web host is doing you a disservice, and you should not feel like you need to run to a different platform completely. You just need a different web host, someone that will make sure that you have up-to-date versions of PHP. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, hosting is not like building a house. It's like renting an apartment with an open lease that you can leave anytime and find somewhere better for you. So, but yeah, they should be able to assist you. And if they can't, move somewhere else. That's interesting. Some interesting 5.4 issues, that's for sure. I always typically wait a couple of weeks to update the high traffic websites to the latest version of WordPress unless it's a security release. 5.4, as far as I'm aware, was not a security release, so I'm gonna give it a little bit. You know, maybe I'll wait till 5.4.1 comes out. We're already testing 5.4 on some staging sites just to make sure like it's looking good, that all the functions are working. But I'm still hesitant with the big point releases, you know? That's sad. I think one of the things about, you know, trying to make it so that everyone can publish content online that we continually forget about is that with WordPress and other things like it, there is still a technical barrier, a technical understanding that needs to be achieved to be able to kind of deal with any issues that come up. You know, this is not the Apple of publishing software that just works, right? When you want new features, when you want to do things with WordPress, there's a learning curve there. So I think this is an important part of the WordPress culture and community that still needs to really be addressed in a positive way. I know there are some things like WP 101, I think it's called. They have like an online learning thing. I think it's powered by Lifter LMS, by the way. If you weren't here for yesterday's stream, I was talking all about Lifter LMS. They have great WordPress tutorials and highly recommended. And I think the cost is pretty reasonable if you get the annual access plan or the lifetime access plan. $50 for 250 tutorials, 12 courses, a members only help forum. Like, that's pretty impressive, right? So if you're new to WordPress and you're trying to figure out how to use it, this is where you should go. They know what they're talking about. And I almost wish that I could just be like, hey, that's what you should do, person. You don't need to go back to an old version of WordPress. I wonder how many people got an issue with the updates, like this major update. I think part of it is because they changed Gutenberg. You know, the JavaScript that's running the publishing of the website got changed. And if you have any kind of caching and stuff like that, that JavaScript could be cached, and that could be a big part of the problem. Don't forget about the health check and troubleshooting plugin. Last updated 2 days ago. Over 200,000 active installs. A decent amount of 5 stars. Not many reviews though. So again, if you ever have any questions and you're here during the live Q&A, feel free to post them in the chat. And if you're not here and you're viewing this after the fact, go ahead and post them in the comments, and I will try to address them in the future. I love answering WordPress related questions, so feel free to reach out. What else could I show you guys? Oh, here's a fun little one. Okay, so one of the issues that I recently had was I was working with Elementor, and you can do the full page building now, which is really kind of cool. But if you don't set the location you want the template to show, how do you then do that, right? So let's go ahead and edit with Elementor. And I have this like post template that I have. And maybe I only want to use it for like a specific posts or specific category or whatever. If you click here on the save options and display conditions, that's where you can find it. So you can see here I have this used for all posts and pages, but I could actually set it to like, you know, just single things by a certain author or just a single post. I can add additional conditions for anything that I want. But that's where that setting is. So you just click the little up arrow and display conditions. It's pretty slick. I really like Elementor and what they've been doing. Well, since no one has any questions and I don't have any other support things to answer right now, I'll tell you a little bit about Press Titan. We're going to stop that music so I can actually hear myself. There we go. So we do provide WordPress maintenance. So that means updating your plugins, updating your themes, updating WordPress core. For all of those people that had WordPress 5.4, if you were working with us, we would have handled those troubles for you and you would have been able to just focus on what you want to do. And it wouldn't have actually cost you all that much money. But you know, dollars and cents are tight right now. We understand that. And that's part of why I'm doing this, right? I'm giving you guys an opportunity to access all of the skills and knowledge that I have and hopefully resolve a few issues that you might be dealing with. We do provide managed hosting, managed WordPress hosting. We have hosted some non-WordPress things, but not too many because our expertise is really in WordPress. We do backups, so maybe you have backups on your web server, and that's great. But if they're doing the backups to the same server or same area as your website and that hardware fails, you might lose that data. So those backups don't really matter. So you should always make sure you have off-server backups. We provide that as an extra layer. So maybe you back up your site to the server, maybe you back up the site to your local computer, and maybe you have us back up your site off to one of our cloud-hosted servers, and there you go. You have 3 copies of a single piece of data, and it's probably never going to be able to be lost. And when's the last time you tested your backups? Have you thought about that? We do learning management systems. So we've set up a couple of LMS systems. Our favorite one that we've done so far is for 1 million teachers, which is using Lifter LMS. We do remote work consulting. So a lot of people are trying to get used to this whole thing. I can tell you one of my big tips is to get dressed in the morning, you know, have a routine, have a plan, and also set a calendar out. It makes things easier. We do content development. We've been our team's been writing for over 20 years now online. We have a stable of writers that we like to use that are North American, and we have some other ones from around the world. Depending on the type of content you want, you should let us know. And we do like kind of helping with brand management, brand strategy, and brand marketing. So if you need any of that kind of like SEO stuff, SEM stuff, we assist with that as well. See, there I am. So again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about WordPress hosting, about the state of the world, feel free to let me know. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.